Hey guys, welcome back. Today I will try to talk about the book. Oh no, I can't dig here. I need a shovel. Okay, let's stay on track here. Gotta go to Pierce. I guess right off the bat, for some reason I thought I was surprised by. I was a little put off by it seems like the book is really heavily influenced by Freud and psychoanalysis. Which I didn't like. Maybe I'll like it more. I don't actually, I mean, to be honest, I don't know who Jung is, but he must be a psychoanalysis guy too. I don't know what he did or what he said. I know a little bit about Freud. I just said his name Freud and it sounded wrong. Is that Sigmund Freud, right? I think I wrote down fraud in here, and that's why I'm getting it messed up. My phone corrected it to fraud. Freudian slip. Phonian, Freudian. Okay. I guess everybody can appreciate what Freud did for like I mean, I go to therapy, so like I appreciate like he kind of started that whole thing. Analyzing your mind and thinking how much, I mean, everything, all of our human experiences takes place up here, so we might as well try to understand what's going on. For some reason, it feels like there wasn't a lot of science to what Freud did. Pierce, sorry. I'm just zoning out on you. He seems more like a philosopher. Like he just had these ideas about like why humans act the way they do, and he's a really smart guy. So he worded it in like an interesting way. But I guess there's no way to like prove like scientifically if what he said was true, and that's a little bit frustrating to me. Like, well, then it's just some guy talking about what he thinks is happening, but he doesn't actually know. And I think, again, I don't know anything about it, but like it seems like most people are like, yeah, Freud was a really important and smart guy, but most of what he said might not have been true. It sounds true when he explains it because he's smart. But a lot of stuff that sounds true when you test it scientifically turns out it's not true. Which is like the fun part of science. You're like, oh, this doesn't make sense, but it's coming up. Like I'm testing it and it's coming up this way. Like, how is that possible? I would not like that. Oh, that's pretty good. I keep having to empty my pockets. So he talks a lot about Freud and psychoanalysis in the beginning of the book. And I'm like, oh no, is that like what this whole book's going to be about? I want it to be more about storytelling and less about, there's something about the way Freud explains, or the way Joseph Campbell explains Freud explaining the stuff he said, that's like, it doesn't feel timeless. He gave an example of, what was it, the Temptress or something. He gave two examples of Oedipus and Hamlet. So Oedipus kills his father and marries his mother. That's the Oedipal complex. And then Hamlet, there's like the idea that the woman is the... So I guess in Oedipus, the idea is like the man is the first outside force to break up like the mother and child. So the impulse is to kill the father. But in Hamlet, the woman is the temptress. So I don't know. I have no idea what I'm talking about. But those kind of ways of thinking seem old school for some reason. They don't seem... The whole point of this book is the idea of the monomyth, like all myths having a common idea. So to bring this example up in like the first couple pages, it's like, well, this doesn't feel like... I don't like this explanation of how the monomyth like works, because it doesn't feel like it applies. I have an axe for you. Come back. Oh, maybe not. Well, who does the axe go to? Oh, Allie, right. I remember. I went through that note already. I might be totally wrong about that. Like, is there a way to test what Freud said? Like, in science, like a big important thing is like being able to test something and have it be repeatable. Obviously, in Freud's time, I guess that stuff wasn't testable, but even now, I don't know if it is. Like the idea that we have an Oedipal complex. How do you test that? I don't know. There's no way to test it, really. So it's more just like philosophical and less scientific. But if you don't have the... Oh, that was a great note, wasn't it? If you don't have the tools to test something scientifically, then what else do you have than philosophy? And you might as well use your brain if you got it, right? But it is just one person's perspective, which could be tainted by a bunch of different things. So how do we... I mean, he was a smart guy, but he's not perfect. So how do we know that everything he said was right? And then so Joseph Campbell's kind of taking a lot from him. But was there good stuff about the book? Am I almost out of time already? Oh yeah, he was talking about something pretty interesting. How this book was written in 1949, I think. But he's like, the current age, there is a lot of neuroticism. And I guess I kind of did want to look up exactly what that word means. But to me, it's just like worrying about stuff and a little bit of anxiety. I guess I feel like I am a little neurotic, just because I worry about stuff a lot. I guess there's also a component of like neuroticism that's like talking and being like anxious and being like, oh, I'm kind of whiny. He was saying that the current modern age, there's a lot of neuroticism because we don't have a certain aspect of the monomyth in our society, which I think he was saying was the rite of passage, specifically. I'm making a lot of money. Okay, I never do this, but I gotta drink water. The bulletin board. I actually do have a lot to say about this. I don't know if I have time. Decline of effective spiritual aid. Neuroticism because of a decline of effective spiritual aid, rite of passage. He gave some examples of cultures that have rites of passage, and I guess when I say it, it sounds less interesting, but it's just like it gives people purpose, and without those rites of passage, people don't have purpose, and they get anxious, like, what am I supposed to be doing? He says it. I kind of conflate that with tradition, and I don't know. Sometimes you think, well, tradition, is it valuable or is it not? Is it gonna cause too much harm to have to do everything a certain way? What if certain people don't fit in that tradition? What do you do with them? But then there is this benefit of tradition, which is like knowing like who you are and what you're supposed to be doing, and just if you follow it, then like you're part of your culture and you feel important and like just part of it, and you don't feel alone. What am I doing? Is this my stuff? I can just like put this in my house. Oh, I have to write on the bulletin board. Tom Nook. What did she just said? Write anything. How about a space? Tom Nook. Oops. Is crook. I've never spelled crook before. Is that how you spell it? I'm embarrassed. How do you spell crook? I'm not a crook. Okay, yeah. A person who is dishonest. Okay. I've never spelled it before. If I had a rival convenience store, that's what I would put outside. Tom Nook is a crook. I think I may value science too much. And that may be why I can be anxious. So hopefully this book will help me be like, there's more to life than certainty. Knowing, accepting the unknowable. Oh, I'm all done. What does that mean? Does he? What happens if you don't pay 1,000 per week? Oh. Yeah, I remember this was the point in the game, like, what am I supposed to do now? Okay. The episodes are going by quick. I feel like I still have more to say. Oh, I didn't end the episode yet. Okay. I guess that's it. See you tomorrow.